In a kitchen, shows Gilda Radner as Mary Crooks on her cell phone talking. Radner. I just can't believe it. What a brutal thing it is to have to do to plan a funeral for your son who was shot trying to take out a presidential candidate. John Belushi as Matthew Crooks enters the kitchen. Radner. I have to go now, Marcy. Matt's home from work. Okay, bye. Belushi sluggishly sits down at the kitchen table and slouches over the table and says, this is hell. Radner. I know what you mean, honey. Cousin Marcy's the only person who will still talk to me. Belushi. Tell me about it. I'm like a ghost at work. Everyone's always avoiding me. Radner sits down at the table with the coffee. Belushi. You know, our son Thomas is giving Crooks a bad name. Now whenever anyone thinks of Crooks, they're not going to think of upstanding members of the community, but instead think of us like we're lawbreakers or something. Radner. Well, Belushi. Crooks had such a good connotation before our boy. It's just like how nobody names their kid Adolf or Judas. Radner. Well, Crooks doesn't exactly have the best connotation, honey. Remember my reservations about changing my last name when we got married? Belushi. Geez, you're going to bring that up again? Radner. Well, I'm just saying that Crooks sounds like... Well, it sounds like we're a bunch of crooks or something. Belushi stands up and says, We are crooks, and proud of it. What's the problem? Radner. Yeah, but you know what crooks means when it's not used as a last name, right? Belushi. Oh, come on, honey, not this again. Radner. Crooks means criminals. Belushi. We've been over this. Crooks refers to multiple hook staffs of a shepherd. Radner. Oh, come on. No one thinks of hook staffs of a shepherd when they hear the word crooks. They think of criminality. Belushi. Well, now after what our son has done, they definitely will. Radner. But, honey, even before that, what was it that Nixon said before he resigned? I am not a... Belushi. Criminal? Radner. No, he said I am not a crook. Belushi. Why would he say that? Everyone knows he wasn't the hook staff of a shepherd. Radner. Maybe this is what drove our son crazy? His father refusing to acknowledge that his last name is a synonym for criminals? Belushi. Oh, so now it's my fault. Radner. He did use your gun. Belushi. Well, all I have to say to that is, dead from the earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, John Hooks, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Donitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest, Kinky Friedman, and your host, Bob Newhart. Everybody, Bob Newhart. Applause, applause, applause. Shows Newhart on stage who says, Thank you, thank you. I was a comedian and actor. I was known for my deadpan and stammering delivery style. You know, beginning as a stand-up comedian, I transitioned my career to acting in television, including the Bob Newhart Show. I received numerous accolades, including, 3 Grammy Awards, an Emmy Award, and a Golden Globe Award. I even received the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2002. Applause, applause, applause. Newhart. And I hosted Saturday Night Live twice, or one more time than I'd ever host this show. Anyway, during my second time hosting SNL, I said the following in my monologue, though this one is a little truncated because apparently I meandered too much the first time. So anyway, I said I love coming to New York, especially the Empire State Building, which always reminds me of King Kong. which was my favorite monster movie, if not my favorite movie of all time. I'll get back to that in a second, but I've held a lot of different jobs in my life, including once working for the Illinois Unemployment Compensation Board. Behind the counter, now this is true, and at that time I made $60 a week, and the claimants made $55 a week. This is true. And they only had to come in 1 day a week. Now, it took me about a week to figure that out. So I managed to get fired and end up on the other side of the line and only had to come in 1 day a week. So anyway, at these jobs I had, you always had to go through a 1-week orientation program over the problems you'd be expected to face on the first day on the job. Now, invariably, the problems you'd actually face would be different than the ones from the orientation. Okay, now back to King Kong. I wondered if the night that King Kong climbed the Empire State Building was also the first night for a new guard. You see, he had gone through 1 week's orientation program on the problems he might be expected to face his first night on the job. And I think his first night would have gone something like this. Newhart pretends to be on the phone with his hand and says, Mr. Hennessy? Sir, I hate to bother you at home like this, but something's come up that isn't covered in the guard's manual? I looked in the index, yes, sir, and I looked up unauthorized personnel and people without passes, and apes toes, yes. There's an ape's toe sticking through the window, sir. Well, see, this isn't your standard ape, sir. Yeah, he's between 18 and 19 stories high, depending on whether we have a 13th floor or not. Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a rule against apes climbing the building, so I yelled at his feet. I said, shoo, ape, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. And I know how you like the new men to think on their feet, so I went to the broom closet and took a broom without signing out a requisition. I will tomorrow, yes, sir. And I started banging him on the toes with it. But there's all these planes flying around his head, and they're shooting at him, and he's just kind of swatting at them, Did I try hitting him in the face with it? Well, I was going to take the elevator up to his head, sir, but, see, my jurisdiction only extends to his navel. You don't care what I do, just get the ape off the building. This could complicate things a little, sir. When he came by here, he was carrying a woman in his hand. Well, she was wearing kind of a negligee, so I doubt she's one of the cleaning women. Well, I filled out a report on it, yes, sir. Well, I don't think I can cover it up, no, sir. As I said, the planes are shooting at him, and they're starting to hit him. And, people are going to come to work tomorrow morning, and, they're going to have to walk around the big dead ape in the street. They're going to start putting 2 and 2 together. You don't care what I do, just get the ape off the building. Well, I had an idea, sir, but, we're not supposed to leave our post. Well, I thought I could smear the Chrysler building with bananas. Hello? Hello? Applause, applause, applause. Newhart, thank you, thank you. Don Rickles comes out. Applause, applause, applause. Rickles. I love Bob, but there's a difference in our comedy style, see? Bob's a brainy kind of comedian, and I'm a kind of comedian who gets laughs. Newhart. Don here is my best friend, which just gives you some idea of the trouble I have in making friends. The two men hug. Applause, applause, applause. Newhart. We have a great show tonight. Kinky Friedman is here, so stick around. We'll be right back.